Hello everyone, this is Paul. In theory, Paul can add remote IPMI management to any system. Of course, any system with PCI Express. Paul has a baseband management controller, has a VGA emulation so you don't even need a graphics card on your target, and it's got Ethernet and all the fun features like that. So I'm going to play with Paul today, see how well it works. Now Paul came to me off eBay, I bought him myself. I tried to find someone that sold them new in stock from Asrock Rack, and I couldn't find any. So if you want your own Paul, you might have a hard time. So come along on this adventure. So here's a box. It says Paul on it. So literally all I got was a bag of screws, a low profile bracket to go with the full profile bracket, and the card itself. So this is the Asrock Rack PAUL. It's got an A-speed, probably a 2600 BMC. Got Ethernet for the BMC, VGA for the BMC. Then the BMC is connected over PCI Express, obviously. Down at the bottom, it's got these aux panel headers. And I believe these are for front panel I/O, like the power and the reset switch. And I thought these were going to be a standard 0.1 inch header, but they look a little bit small to me. He's got some other I/O connectors down on this end. So this one, I believe, is USB to the target computer. So I plug it in over there to the motherboard, and it passes USB in. It's got a built-in USB hub for USB back out. USB if you want to put in like a thumb drive with an operating system. And I believe the SD card is also for the operating system as well. And some other I/O headers. So I've got these jumpers here, and I found a USB extension cable. So first off, USB. This pin header here, labeled USB 3.4, is USB to the motherboard. So now this is supposed to plug into the motherboard on one of the motherboard's front panel headers. So next up, these guys here, aux panel 1, aux panel 2. This has power on it, power and reset. So if I connect this to the motherboard's front panel headers, I get power and reset. But unfortunately, I only have these 0.1 inch headers. And these look like they're 2 millimeter. So this is 2.54 millimeter. They don't quite fit. So I guess we'll see. So I need aux panel 1, which I guess is the bottom one. And I need pin GPIO 1, should be that one, and ground, which would be the next row, and reset, which would be this row. Hopefully those are making good contact. This one here is a COM port header, so if I plug this in, I can access the COM port on the motherboard remotely. Would have been nice to have, not just pin headers, but whatever. So there's a broken off pin, and I need RxD. Let's see. I'm going to do ground first. So ground should be the third pin. TXD will be next to ground. And RxD will be this one. They also have other ports here for fans, system management, bus, and a couple other things, but I'm not going to hook those up on this board. I don't have any place to hook them up to. So this one goes to the chipset. There's another one back here that also goes to the chipset, but I kind of want the space of having this open. So I'm going to put it in this X16 slot, even though I don't need X16. Should still work fine in the X1 slot. I just don't want to tuck all this in back there. So this is a USB going to USB. Oh, we powered right up. The motherboard is powered right now, just from standby power. Looks like my COM header is kind of in the way of these other headers, but now we're going to give up on COM. So now I've got blue and brown. Yeah, blue and purple. Okay, so at least the power button's hooked up now. If I had the right cables, this would be much easier. So I'm going to see if I can log in now. Okay, so it has a self-signed certificate, so we're going to go ahead and click through that. Apparently the password is admin. And it looks like we're in. Oh, we got an IPv6 address too, that's cool. System information. Yeah, so we're not connected to the power supply because we're going to have SM bus. Okay, so host is currently off. Let's try power on. Perform action. I was not expecting it to be this easy. It just works. Like magic. Let's see, what else do we have going on? Remote control. Launch KVM. No signal. This might not be a perfect example here. The system actually has a GPU built into the CPU. So if I were to plug into the VGA all the way over here, or the HDMI, then I would get display output. So I'm sure Proxmox has initialized that graphics adapter and not the BMC one. But I'm going to look in Proxmox and see if it found it on the PCI bus. So here I am in Proxmox, OS PCI, A-Speed Technology, AST, PCI bridge. I think that's probably it. And then VGA compatible controller, A-Speed Technology, A-Speed graphics family. I believe that is also it. What USB? Do we have any USB devices? American Megatrends Inc. Virtual keyboard and mouse. Virtual Ethernet. Virtual hub. Handy. Oh, on the KVM here it came up. I just didn't wait long enough. Wow, this is super responsive. Some of the other IPMI or remote management, remote KVM solutions I've used have a ton of lag when typing. My HP ILO in the back is the absolute worst offender for that. But even some modern solutions like the Pi KVM aren't the best in terms of latency. This is just super smooth. So what else can I do? Power, immediate shutdown. How's that going to go? So I'm guessing it's just going to hold the power button. There we go. Turned off. Let's turn it back on. Power on server. Go. Here we go. This is so much fun. Not that I actually come down here to reset the server hardly ever, because this server's been very reliable with Proxmox, but having this kind of remote access is just super cool for me. I am definitely going to keep this going once I figure out the 2mm pin header issue. Ooh, I can record video too. This says cool. Send hotkeys, send keys, German, Japanese. That's an interesting combination. So let's see how this video record works. We're going to say record video. Well, we got data there. What else could I ask? Do you want to do a lot of downloads? That was fast. Stop recording. It totally works. It totally recorded video for 20 seconds. Can I do more than 20 seconds? How about 60 seconds? Look at top for 60 seconds. Well, it says up here recording video, and then so much time is left. Neat. Sending parts down to my download folder continuously. There we go, I just sent another one. So it seems like it doesn't have much memory to store recorded videos, so like every 5 or 10 seconds it's downloading a little video file. And if you put the video files all back together, you get the whole 60-second capture, which is a neat solution, I guess, because they have no onboard memory. And the onboard USB is passed straight on through to the motherboard, but it's very functional, I like it. Network settings, DNS configuration, IPMI GPU, that's a cool name. Wow, you can do dynamic DNS. DHCP client FQDN, so it's going to register with a TSIG if it has one. This is a ton of options here. I think you're on ETH0. That's probably my problem. So far this is looking like an absolutely complete BMC solution. I mean, I'm aware that I'm not connecting all of the I/O to this motherboard. This motherboard doesn't have headers for things like SM bus that need to get power supply statistics, but even without that, I got the USB connected. It's being powered over USB since the PCI power resets when the system does. I can control power reset on the system. It's got a little SD card slot for my boot drive. This is everything I could want. Okay, new way. We're going to try this way. Browse file. Okay, so I picked Ubuntu desktop. Start media. So, oh god, that's a lot. Yeah, there we go. So USB, AMI, virtual CD-ROM, virtual floppy, virtual hard disk. It's SDA, SDB, SR0. Let's see if we can boot into that now. So we still got the image mounted. And we're going to, so reset server is not going to work because I didn't wire the reset line. We'll do immediate shutdown. And now we'll do power on, and then I'll hit, well, I don't have a delete key to hit. The problem with press del to enter setup is there's no delete key on Mac keyboards. How about F2? Function F2. It's thinking now. There we go. We got in the BIOS. So let's boot, oh god, we got all kinds of options here. Should I force boot USB or UEFI? Oh yes, try or install Ubuntu. Normally I would use a CLI-based installer for something like Proxmox or Debian. However, I've heard that on systems that have a second graphics card, the virtual mouse doesn't work, so I'm going to try that. Oh, it's loading a lot, so it's probably doing it real time from the browser. I'm on Wi-Fi, so it's not going to be the fastest, but it's got 64 megs down, I think, so far. There we go, Ubuntu 24.04. That looks very kind of VGA. Unable to locate BIOS ROM for AMD GPU. That's an interesting one. We're going to try a different approach. We're going to try Debian through the terminal. Welcome to Grub. We're going to do non-graphical. Okay, this is looking pretty good. So, my verdict for Asrock PAUL. If you have a system that has PCIe slots and does not have IPMI, this is fantastic. I think I paid about 150 bucks for this online, and for that price, yes, a Jet KVM would be cheaper. This is easier to install, and it's integrated inside the machine, and the web UI is absolutely fantastic. Now, if your system does not have PCIe, this is absolutely not for you. Also, I'm having a heck of a time finding these for sale in the real world, so if anyone has a contact at Asrock Rack to tell them to make more of these, that would be great. If you're planning on using this for a system that has graphical output, it's also probably not for you. But again, you probably wouldn't have a server if it had graphical output, right? And again, Jet KVM is probably what you want in that case. So let me know what you guys think about this video down in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. What solutions are you guys using for remote management? Especially if you're not buying name brand servers or servers that don't have IPMI built in. If you want to chat with me on Discord, I have a link down below for that from my Discord server. If you want to give me any tips, I have a Ko-fi link down below as well. It's kind of like Patreon, but it's a one-time thing. I bought the card myself, and it probably will have cost more than I'll make from this video. So anyway, I'll see you guys on the next adventure.